Right now, you might be fighting the urge to yawn, or maybe you already have. In fact, just reading the word yawn is enough to make many people do it. That's strange when you think about it. Nobody tells you to yawn. Your body simply decides it's time. Sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're bored. Sometimes you yawn because someone across the room did. Even your dog might yawn after watching you. It feels so ordinary that we rarely question it. But yawning is one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of human biology. Most people think they know why we yawn: to get more oxygen, to wake ourselves up, because we're sleepy. Except none of those explanations fully hold up. And when scientists started testing them, they found something surprising. Yawning isn't just about sleep. It isn't just about breathing. It may actually reveal something about how our brains work, how our ancestors survived, and why humans are deeply connected to one another. Let's start with the timeline. Yawning is much older than humans, much older than language, much older than clothing or tools. Scientists have observed yawning in nearly every group of vertebrates, from fish and reptiles to birds and mammals. Even unborn human babies have been seen yawning inside the womb, long before they're capable of speaking, laughing, or even opening their eyes to the world. That immediately tells us something important. Yawning isn't something we learned from culture. It isn't a habit. It's built into us. Somewhere deep inside the brain, long before civilization existed, yawning had already become part of being alive. For a long time, researchers thought they had the answer. The idea sounded simple enough. When you're tired, your breathing slows down, carbon dioxide builds up, oxygen drops, so your body forces you to take one huge breath. Problem solved, except experiments didn't support it. Scientists asked volunteers to breathe extra oxygen. If the theory were true, they should have yawned less. They didn't. Then researchers increased carbon dioxide levels. They should have yawned more. Again, nothing changed in any meaningful way. The oxygen theory, despite being repeated for decades, simply couldn't explain what people were actually doing. So if yawning isn't about oxygen, why does it happen most often when we're tired? That's where things become interesting. Notice when you usually yawn: right before falling asleep, right after waking up, during a long meeting, while sitting through a lecture, during a slow drive home. These moments all have something in common. Your brain is changing states. You're moving from alertness to drowsiness, or from drowsiness back to attention. Researchers have suggested that yawning may be less about tiredness itself and more about helping the brain manage these transitions. Instead of putting you to sleep, a yawn may actually be your brain's attempt to become more alert. But even that doesn't tell the whole story. There's another theory that's been gaining attention over the last 2 decades, and it begins with something most people never associate with yawning: temperature. Think about your laptop for a moment. When it starts working harder, the internal fans turn on to keep it from overheating. Your brain faces a similar challenge. It performs billions of calculations every second, and all of that activity generates heat. Some researchers now believe that yawning may act as part of the brain's cooling system. Here's the idea. When you yawn, your jaw stretches wide. Blood flow increases around your face and neck. You inhale a large volume of cooler air. Those movements may help cool the blood traveling toward the brain, allowing it to operate more efficiently. Several studies have found that brain temperature tends to rise slightly before a yawn and drop afterward, lending support to what's known as the thermoregulatory theory. Is the debate completely settled? Not yet. Some scientists argue that the evidence is convincing, while others believe more direct proof is still needed. But among the many explanations proposed over the years, brain cooling remains one of the strongest and most actively researched. Then there's another mystery. Why is yawning contagious? You don't have to see someone yawn in person. A video can trigger it. A photograph can trigger it. Sometimes simply hearing someone yawn or reading about yawning is enough. If you're feeling the urge right now, you're not alone. Researchers estimate that somewhere between 40 and 60% of adults are susceptible to contagious yawning. Young children usually aren't. The effect becomes stronger as we grow older, suggesting that it depends on parts of the brain involved in social awareness, rather than the yawn itself. At first, scientists believed contagious yawning was all about empathy. The idea made sense. People who understand the emotions of others might unconsciously copy their behavior, but as more studies appeared, the picture became less clear. Some research supports a connection with empathy. Other studies find only a weak relationship. Today, many scientists think contagious yawning is probably influenced by several things at once, including attention, social bonding, and the brain's tendency to automatically mirror the behavior of people around us. And humans aren't the only ones. Chimpanzees yawn after seeing other chimpanzees yawn. Dogs sometimes yawn after watching their owners. Even lions appear to synchronize yawns before the group becomes active together. That hints at something bigger. Perhaps contagious yawning wasn't designed for individuals. Perhaps it evolved for groups. Imagine a small tribe sitting around a fire thousands of years ago. Some members are becoming tired. Others are still alert. If one person's changing state spreads through the group, everyone becomes synchronized. The group rests together, wakes together, moves together. Whether or not that's the full explanation, contagious yawning seems remarkably social. And that changes how we think about something we usually dismiss as boredom. There's another detail that's easy to overlook. Yawning isn't always a sign of being sleepy. Athletes yawn before competitions. Musicians yawn before walking onto a stage. Skydivers have been observed yawning before jumping from an airplane. Even Olympic competitors sometimes yawn moments before performing. These people aren't bored. If anything, they're experiencing the opposite. They're highly alert. Their brains are preparing for something important. That suggests yawning isn't simply the body's way of slowing down. It may also be part of gearing up, a reset button before a major shift in attention. And that's a fascinating way to think about it. Every yawn may be your nervous system adjusting itself to what's about to happen next, whether that's falling asleep, walking into an interview, starting a race, or simply paying attention again. Which brings us back to you. You probably don't notice when you yawn. It happens automatically. Your jaw opens, your lungs fill, your eyes water. A few seconds later, life continues. But inside those few seconds, your brain may be performing a process that scientists are still trying to understand. Maybe it's cooling itself. Maybe it's increasing alertness. Maybe it's helping synchronize the people around you. Maybe it's doing all three. The remarkable part is that something so common can remain so mysterious. We know more about distant galaxies than we do about why every human on Earth yawns several times a day. And perhaps that's the lesson. Not every mystery hides in deep oceans or distant planets. Some are happening right in front of us, hidden inside the routines we never question. The next time you catch yourself yawning, or someone else's yawn makes you do the same, you'll probably think differently about it. You're not just opening your mouth. You're taking part in a behavior that's older than humanity itself, shared with countless other animals, connected to your brain, your body, and perhaps even the people around you. The yawn lasts only a few seconds. The mystery behind it has lasted millions of years.